Keep it going for Jonathan, you guys. Hey, Jonathan.
Susan was what you would call a dumb blonde if you were immature and inappropriate. And since I was 15 years old when the story took place, that's definitely what I called her. My friends and I would make fun of her for being ditzy, like the time at school when she fell down a flight of stairs and the first thing she cried out was, "My shoes!" Which at the time seemed completely illogical to me, but now I know a little bit more about how expensive women's shoes can be, so I can understand that a little bit more. But even though I made fun of Susan all the time, I actually had a big crush on her. In fact, that's probably part of the reason why I made fun of her, sometimes to her face, because I was at that age where I thought being mean to a girl was a good way of flirting. Obviously, you get a lot of attention when you do that, so you must be doing something right. But this was in 9th grade. I didn't know what I was doing. But homecoming was coming up. There was a homecoming dance. And this was like the first school-sanctioned event that we could really invite our classmates to. So I was very excited about this because it wasn't much for asking out a girl to anything. But here's a school-sponsored function. She's probably going to it anyway. Why not go with me? That's my pitch right there. But I didn't know what she would say. And I didn't want to go in blind. So I enlisted my friend Bob to help me, to kind of run reconnaissance. So this was the plan. I would call Bob. Bob would then place a 3-way call and call Susan, and he would talk casually. "Oh, Susan, how are you doing?" He would mention homecoming. Maybe he would mention someone he was thinking of asking, so Susan wouldn't get confused and think he was asking her. Then he would mention me, and we would kind of see how that went. This was a bad plan for a lot of reasons. One, Bob was not friends with Susan. I interacted with her more than he did, so there was no way this conversation wasn't going to be awkward. Also, there was no reason for it to be a 3-way call. He could have just called and then told me later, what she said. I don't know if maybe I was thinking, I'll be able to, glean something from the hidden messages between the words, from the unspoken, because clearly I had such great intuition when it came to girls and what their thoughts were at that age. So we put this plan into action, and we call, and the answer machine picks up. And we hadn't accounted for this, and we couldn't talk about what to do. But before we had to hang up, her mom picked up the phone. And he asked, "Oh, is Susan there?" "Oh, no, she went to the football game, and she's going to a party later." This was on a Friday night, by the way, so you can see Bob and I had nothing better to do. Susan had a part of, normal high school social life. So Bob talked to Susan's mom for a little bit longer. She had some questions. Susan's mom hung up. Bob and I are talking "Oh, well, that plan didn't work. What are we going to do? Oh, maybe we'll try it again later." Monday morning rolls around. I get to school. I see Susan, and before I can even say hello or even smile, she just scowls at me, and she says, "I heard what you said." I'm thinking, what are you talking about? What do you mean? She said, "My answering machine recorded your entire conversation." Because the answering machine picked up before her mother did, and because we had a 3-way call and we kept talking after her mother hung up, the answering machine picked up everything we said for a 20-minute conversation. There was a lot that we said that we wouldn't want to be recorded. I'm sure we talked about the dumbass plan that we had for him to call Susan. I'm sure there was general inappropriate teenage boy stuff. But I think the cherry on top, which was right out of the gate, was as soon as her mom hung up, Bob and I burst out laughing, and we both said, "Her mom's a dumb blonde too." And then proceeded to make fun of stuff her mom had said in that 1 minute. So as you can probably guess, Susan did not go to the dance with me or to any dance that the school ever had. But I learned an important lesson that day, and that's to never say something about someone that you wouldn't want them to know that you said. I'm kidding, of course. That's a ridiculous standard to try to uphold. The real lesson that I learned is if you're going to talk shit about somebody behind their back, do it face-to-face over brunch. All right. Thank you very much.